Hey, Slim here, and this is the guys only video. So you have been warned. We're going to jump into a guys only talk in 3, 2, 1. You've been warned. All right, guys. Well, hey. Did you just swipe left on me? Hot or not? Tinder? I mean, if you swipe left, will God swipe left on you? Do you know what that means? If you swipe right, will God swipe right? If you say someone is hot based on their looks alone, is that the only way God's going to look at you? We were told that the way you judge will be judged against you. The measure you use will be measured against you. And so God wants to tell us there is something far more important than beauty alone. Proverbs is trying to tell us that the things that we think are important aren't as important as we think. I mean, imagine if you actually get the girl of your dreams. I mean, you got the hottest girl in school. And God tells you what that's going to be like. A continual drip, 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 Chinese water torture right on your head of nagging, nagging, and nagging you. I mean, there's a hilarious that God has this in the Bible, but he's saying this is what that person is. This is who she actually is. And you may wonder, why would someone ever get into a relationship with a woman like that? Well, it's because when we get so captivated by the shape of a girl, we completely misread whether she's actually good for us or not.
I immediately regret this decision.
God also says that the hotness of a girl will soon be drowned out by how much she fights you. So imagine you did get that girl of your dreams. I mean, her beauty is awesome. What about a year later? Are you still captivated by that beauty? What about years later? This is why the man has his room up in the attic of a household, or why the man is now in the garage having the man cave, because the wife is constantly fighting against him and arguing against him and beating him down. And lastly, Proverbs tells us that charm is deceptive and beauty fades. And so it makes you wonder, why do we care so much about the beauty of a girl? Why do we care so much about the shape of a girl? Why do we care so much about her being bigger in some areas and smaller in other areas? I mean, we are just flesh and bones. We are souls covered in flesh. I mean, why does that matter so much to us? He says, he who commits adultery lacks sense, and he who does it destroys himself. He goes on to say, it's like, can you carry fire next to your clothes and not be burned? Can you walk across coals and not scorch your feet? Yet we do it anyways. Why? Because the temptation is so great. That the temptation of the opposite sex is so enticing that their lips are dripping honey, are smoother than oil, but they're bitter as wormwood and sharper than a double-edged sword. This attractive woman is like a wolf in sheep's clothing. Proverbs 7 describes the temptation, the lengths that this woman will go to tempt the man of saying, I've laid coverings over my couch. I've got the incense going. My husband is out on vacation. We have the place all to ourselves. I mean, she is tempting this man. What can he do? And what happens when the guy follows? It says, as an ox is led to slaughter, or as a stag caught fast till an arrow pierces its liver, as a bird rushes into a snare or a trap, he does not know that it will cost him his life. The problem is not our enjoyment of sex, it's our reorienting of sex. When we've reoriented sex to be something that we want rather than the person who we love, we've killed its power and its enjoyment. We've made it into something lesser. And so God is actually so pro-sex. Christianity is one of the most pro-sex religions in the world that cares about the body, that exalts and celebrates the body and sex. And he's saying, you're settling for lesser. God's not saying don't have sex. He's saying have better sex. Sex is supposed to connect us deeper into a relationship with the person we're having it with. But when we look past the person and only go for the sex, we are killing the connection God's made us for. And the problem is compounded when we look to pornography to fulfill our sexual desires, And pornography, it ruins your spirituality. It shames you. It's ridiculously violent of an industry. It makes you not be able to talk to the opposite sex. It kills your self-esteem. It ruins who you see your future wife to be. It starts fights there saying, why aren't you like the person on the screen? And Mark Driscoll actually said that because of technology, it's easier to see a person naked than to get something out of your fridge. Because to get something out of your fridge, you have to actually stand up, walk over, and get it. You don't have to do that when you have a phone in your hand. So is God anti-sex? No. Again, He's trying to help you have better sex and help you connect deeper with this woman that He's preparing you for. Proverbs is actually very erotic of a book. It has a couple of chapters that make you feel a little uncomfortable as you read them. Proverbs 5 says, and it may not sound like it's too erotic as you're hearing it here, but bear with me. It says, listen, drink from your own cistern, running water from your own well. And it's talking about getting water. And to get that water, you have to go down into a cistern. You have to go down in a well to scoop it out. And says, drink from it. And it's clear that it's the female imagery he's going with, of drink from that well. Then he flips the image and says, guys, should your springs be overflowing in the streets? And so a spring is not something you go down in to get the water. A spring is something where the water is spurting out, and it's the clear image of a male body part here. I mean, it's crazy that this is in the Bible. And he's saying, should you be drinking from another's well? Should your springs be going out in the streets? And he says, no, he's making it very clear. He clarifies it all and says it's to never be shared. Why? Why? He's not saying don't have sex. He's saying savor it. In verse 18, he couldn't be clear. He says, may your fountain be blessed. I mean, think about that imagery. And what we just said the fountain was. And he says, may it be blessed. To make things just one step more uncomfortable, he says, may your wife's breasts satisfy you always, and may you ever be captivated by her love. I mean, wow. Thank you, Bible, for that. But not just be satisfied with them. He says, may you ever be captivated by it. And that's this Hebrew word of being so drunk on this love that you've been drinking from, that you are now staggering in the street. And so it's this drunken love. God is saying, enjoy it. But enjoy it with the real connection with the woman He's made you for. He makes things even steamier in Proverbs 30. And bear with me, I know it doesn't sound like it at first. But he says, there are 3 things that are too amazing for me, 4 that I don't understand. Here they are. The way of an eagle in the sky, the way of a snake on a rock, the way of a ship on the high seas, and the way of a man with a maiden. Doesn't sound too erotic yet, but what it's saying is there are these 4 beings that all penetrate the other, that the eagle penetrates into the sky, that doesn't just penetrate, but it actually rides the wind, that the snake rides the rock, that the ship rides the ocean, and that's all pointing to what the man does with the maiden. There's this riding, that there's this sailing and soaring, and that they all become really one with. So the eagle becomes one with the wind, the ship one with the ocean. And so sex is supposed to be oneness. It's supposed to push us together with this wife to be one. And God gives us the perfect picture of this oneness in Ephesians 5, where He says, husbands, love your wives the way Christ loved the church and died for her and became one with her. That's who we are supposed to be. We're supposed to see girls as the bride of Christ, to see them past their outward appearance, to see past the hourglass figure, to look into their hearts and love them as people, to become one with them, and that prepares us for the greater sex. And see these girls the way God sees you, past the outward appearance, but looks at you and says, I love you no matter what. That is committed to you with this deeper agape love that says, I'm committed to you not based on what you can do for me. I'm committed to you because I love you. It is my decision to set my love on you, even when beauty fades.
Come sail away, come sail away, come